I'm sure some of you may have seen my last 3 YouTube shorts, and may be wondering what the heck you just saw. If you haven't watched them, obviously I'd encourage you to do so, but otherwise, let's dive into these shorts and find out exactly what they mean. Also, this story and explanation were both approved by a church leader to make sure that it was true to the Bible. You'll find out why that's important in a second. So, this story is called The Sunrise Story, and it's an allegory to the greatest story ever told, the Easter story. Its writing style was heavily inspired by the Gospel of John. Until recently, I tried to read the book, but kept going over my head with, "In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God." And I was so confused, right? What's going on here? Well, as I started reading through the entire Bible, I kind of got used to it and realized, hold on, this is a brilliant, poetic way to paint a picture. So that's where the somewhat strange sentence structure of my composition comes from. We also have the Sunrise Story's general world building and premise. A good illustration of what I'm talking about is, well, I'm sure most of you have seen the 2016 animated film Moana, with the demigod who would lasso the sun to make the days longer, that kind of thing. We're supposed to enjoy stories like these despite their absurdity, so we're taking the redemption story and painting it in a way that's fresh and maybe a bit strange. But how do we get from my story to our story, if you will? We start with the beginning of the light, which is obviously supposed to be God, specifically God's holiness. It's this flaming force that is so perfect that it incinerates any darkness and imperfection in its presence. Well, now we meet these creatures that appear one night. They're so lost and blinded in the darkness, like the fallen nature of humans, that they're chasing these quote-unquote ghosts that they assume to exist. The book of Ecclesiastes opens with the word hevel, meaning vapor or smoke, but the ESV has it translated as vanity. You hear the phrase vanity of vanities or all is vanity a lot, which is referring to the idea that our worldly desires are ultimately vanity. It's hard to catch a vapor or smoke, right? So these creatures, being part of the darkness, become terrified when they see the light, in whose holy presence they will be destroyed. But another trait that this light has is love. So it grows this tree that represents Jesus, which casts a shadow for them to hide in. Many creatures trust in the shadow of the tree, while others, so caught up in their made-up ghosts, run further away. And again, the light, through its love, honors the decisions of these creatures and allows them to run. So the tree gives the creatures its light, being filled by their darkness in return. Darkness still must be destroyed, but now it's the tree being burned to save the ones it loves. So the creatures have become part of, children of, the light. And even after all that had happened, the tree shoots up and releases the last of the darkness as the light finishes it off, an image of the resurrection and Jesus defeating death itself. Finally, we have the rest of eternity. These creatures are forever to delight in the perfection of the world, just like the promise of heaven that gives us hope. This is the Sunrise Story, based on the greatest story ever told. Thank you for watching. If you enjoy this kind of content, please let me know and I'd be happy to do more. On the contrary, if you'd like to see me do something different than this, I'm always looking for new kinds of videos to produce. And remember, we are all storytellers.